Once again, we're live.
We're live again. Memorial Day weekend,
Well, that's right.
and it's a sticky day. Not bad though. Won't complain.
No, can't complain. We don't get what May's almost over, so we got like 3 months of summer
And
with a decent
they say
September.
there's some rain rolling in, but so far so good with the shower. So, anyways, not a lot of sports to talk about today. We'll hit that first, I guess.
Yeah,
Rochester got eliminated last night, 3 overtimes. Nice showing, though. I think our prospects got some definite needed playoff experience.
yeah.
Unfortunately, UPL wasn't able to play. Very close. Might have been able to play the next game.
Just didn't get there. They allowed Laval, or whatever the hell it is.
Lavelle Rockets.
Laval Rocket. Damn it, well, Jacques
Very,
Lamet.
very talented team too. Good.
Good team. But they scored with 1:03 to go to tie it, and then 3 overtimes. And we got outshot 60 to 31.
On a chintzy penalty call late, they scored a power play goal, and they actually won the game on a power play goal.
Yeah.
Your best penalty killers obviously got to be your goaltender. Dell had 60 shots, but bottom line, sometimes you just got to be a little better, right?
Yeah, you do.
We saw what Vasilevsky does, and so many goals, in the NHL today. And
They steal wins. Well, Ruotsalainen was the top scorer. It was him and Peterka 1-2 in the playoffs for the Amerks. And get out, buddy. And
it's our watchdog.
he
Security on the set, you never know.
yeah, we'll talk about that in a while. So he the good news is he was interviewed at Rockford Cleanout today. He said he wants to be a Buffalo Sabre. He does not want to go back to Finland, as was rumored. Now,
Oh, Ruotsalainen. Awesome.
Ruotsalainen, sorry.
I'll tell you what. I listened to a lot of the games. I had people at the games. Teams got very physical with Rochester. Ruostalainen's a tiny guy. We've seen him.
Yeah.
That didn't seem to bother
No.
his game at all.
Now, I was going to say, now he doesn't have the talent of this guy, but he reminds me in stature and grittiness of a Danny Gare. So, no, he's good. But here's what he said. You could read between the lines. He doesn't want to go back to Finland. He wants to be a Sabre, but he also wants to play in the NHL.
Right.
So I don't think the guy will be happy down in Rochester. So we'll see about that. But, you give him, he's only going to get $1.5 million or something. You give 5 to an Olofsson. And now, you get the other kids up here, the Peterkas, they're all on the rookie contracts.
He brings a lot of speed, but more importantly, you wanted your prospects to get into a playoff situation. Okay, they did.
Yeah.
Now, who came up for you down there? He came up. He
came
scored
up.
the goals, and they were getting
did.
physical. They physicaled Quinn. They physicaled Peterka, Krebs. Those guys all played very well, but Ruostalainen did too.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a spot for him.
I think there is.
Asplund has a lot of talent. They play kind of a similar role. I don't know. Hey, we got 3 first-round picks. Maybe there's a trade involved here with some of these guys too. There's where you pick up maybe a piece you need. Ruostalainen is small.
Yeah.
Most of our prospects aren't. That's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Um,
Small players can work in this
he
league.
plays feisty.
Yeah.
I do think we need a little more sandpaper on the Sabre team.
Why, you got to sand your deck?
Well, no, but that physicality, you need that answer,
Yeah,
and
physicality and grit.
so I think there might be a spot for Ruostalainen, but we'll see what happens, right? But
Right,
he scored a lot of key goals for the Amerks.
Yeah, he did.
4th leading scorer during the year too.
Yeah, and first in the playoffs. So no, he's showing what he can do. Interesting thing. I was looking at the cap. Obviously, the Sabres are 21 million under the floor. So actually, it might even be 31. Anyway, do you know who's like well under the floor? And somebody tell me how.
Arizona.
Pittsburgh.
Oh my God.
Now, all I can think of is that.
No.
Yeah. I know Letang's up. Okay.
They're up, right?
Malkin's up. So now you're starting to think about, Sid the Fag's left, but
There's somebody else up there too, and that
Yeah.
could be it. They don't.
oh,
have a-
Rust, Brian Rust.
Right, and they
Last
don't-
time they paid him like $2 million. Now he's thinking
Right.
he should get 5.
Right.
So I
They
think
have-
that's the reason.
Absolutely nothing in their farm system. They traded it all away,
Traded
but
it
they
all
had
away.
great runs and cups.
Traded it all the way,
But,
trading it all the way.
Florida got eliminated. They don't have a draft pick till 2050.
Yeah.
By then, we'll all be under complete solar power. But anyways, that's another story. Going back to the Sabres, we're under, but you're also going to have young talent come and do. So
No question about it. And that's the thing. Everybody said you got Paterka and Quinn and all these guys on their deals, their initial deals, but they're going to come up quickly and they're talented kids. So they're going to listen. The more they talk to Adams, the more I feel very confident in what he does.
Yeah, and the Bills have a saying. They see who you pay, and if you notice, the Bills take care of a lot of their people, right?
Yes, they do.
And I think the same will hold true for the Sabres. And we saw that the free agent frenzy doesn't really get it done.
No, guy. You know what? And that's been proven across almost every team.
Yep.
No one, those free agent things just do not work. In fact, Minnesota's in cap jail now.
Yeah.
For Suter and Parisi.
Yep. And
that was, God, how many, 6, 7 years ago?
now that's not to say that a well-placed free agent signing can't help you.
Like Billy Lano, look what he did for us.
He brought so much to the game. Oh,
Yeah.
God, anyways, no, but the Ehrhoffs and the guys coming in and trying to do it all, it's not the answer.
Not the
So
way to
what?
do it.
No Richards, all that stuff.
Yep.
But
Yep.
no, I think 3 first-round picks. Maybe they trade one of them. Maybe they pick all 3. And Krebs was a 19th overall pick.
Yep.
He's a good player. There's a lot of talent here, a lot of good things. Got to find a goaltender, though.
Yeah, we definitely do. And like I said, I think Adams will do it.
We mentioned on our last show, Laskinen, a defenseman down there the Sabres have, had not been playing. He was a healthy scratch. He did play the last 2 games, brought some speed. Appert didn't like some of his game
I
near the
guess
end, so
they said he was turning it over a lot in his own
Right.
zone. So.
And in fairness, they went to a more veteran AHL type D.
They did.
And although your veteran D put it up and over the glass in OT, but whatever. That happens with fatigue, all that stuff. Anyways.
Yeah, Bills are in OTAs, DTAs, BTAs, CTAs, and OTAs.
The first of 3 barbecue recipe swaps with the wives.
Right. Oh, they're swapping with the
Yes.
wives?
No, just the recipes.
Oh, the recipes.
The Sabres, go back then real quick. The Combine is in Buffalo this week. It's back.
I think it's Monday starts.
And Sabres will be down there. They got, like I said, the 3 picks.
At the Harbor Center.
So anyways, and that's where you can't do it, but you can start preliminary kind of like,
Yeah.
what about a trade? But you can't really talk.
Can't be official.
Can't be official.
When you interview the prospect, you get so many interviews. The mom and dad, grandma and grandpa have to be there. If any of them are deceased, you can substitute someone else, like an uncle.
That is
or
correct.
an aunt. But that's it.
And because of COVID being, under control, they'll be back on the floor for the draft.
Correct.
Which means the GMs can now monkey around the floor and, hey, what about,
Yeah.
But officially, a lot of the groundwork is started at the cookie bake, then the managers' meetings and the presidents or owners' meetings in March.
Yeah.
Now the combine, there's some and then it moves on to the draft where they're actually on the floor and the managers can actually talk a little bit, rub elbows, but it really lays the groundwork for the next few days when free agency starts.
The cookout, right?
And then the general manager
The summer cookout. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's going to be fun.
It's exciting.
June 1st, if I'm not mistaken, this coming Wednesday. So 6 days is the big Mahomes-Allen golf match versus that whining crybaby
and Tailboy
out in Green Bay.
That's no Tailboy
and Tommy. I never want to quit because I just love myself, Brady.
Yep.
So, anyway, we'll see.
I'll
what
watch
happens.
for Allen, but I could really, whatever.
I have to go on the
other
road
3.
because $300 isn't enough to get TNT.
Oh,
So
unreal.
Tom hasn't invited me yet, but I might just show up.
Right. I still have
It's either that or the nursing.
Someone has to do the bottom, the research for the show, and you can't just get it on streaming.
No.
It's got to be, whatever we can do to get it.
And it's either your place or the nursing.
Right. Bills, you said minicamp?
Yeah, OTAs, and they're voluntary. Poyer's not here.
I fell the range.
A couple of guys didn't. The new Dante Jones, he decided not to come, but they are voluntary.
Is Big Timmy Skettle or whatever?
Settle is here.
That guy's
They showed Josh on the run. Listen, it's shorts, no pads, and a helmet. My God, the ball though he threw to Gabe Davis.
No, and you know, I don't get blown away too by
I feel water.
It's starting to rain, but we both said it won't rain for a while.
Yeah, we're good. That's
the,
why I'm not a meteorologist. Maybe I should be a meteorologist. Get it wrong all the time.
These guys have things in the off season. Hoyer obviously is upset about his contract, but
Yeah.
sometimes there's marriages, there's kids.
Oh yeah.
I'm not
They don't
worried
have to.
about that.
No, I'm not worried about this team. The team chemistry. Yeah, Josh is ridiculous. He put a throw 50 yards downfield into Gabriel Davis's hands on the other side of the field. It was just he was rolling right through left down the sideline. It's absurd what he does.
Gabe Davis is going to be.
And
nice.
Gabe's the real deal.
I don't, offense. These guys completely forgot about Gabe Davis.
Yeah.
That
we needed
jackasses
everybody.
on 55.
Yeah.
And our local gendarmes. But no, exciting times. Can definitely wait for the season to start, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that means cold weather and.
Yeah, let's not push it.
We talked briefly. Well, let's get into the meat and potatoes. Although both of us are light on the potatoes as well. We now have
a lot of grains.
COVID making a bit of a resurgence. Not as strong though with the new variants, and of course the vaccines and stuff all do help. But now we have monkeypox, which is now in Florida. It's a
New York City as well.
A viral thing. Well, obviously, it'll be rampant before long. It's something that usually was just with animals, and now it's crossed over to humans, and a variant of which. But one of the tracing back the major two sources, of course, it generated in that eyesore from space, Africa.
Well, yeah, let's talk a little bit about Africa. Okay, we got the Nile where you shit and drink out of.
Yeah.
Okay, we got AIDS started there. Somebody banged a monkey, and now, and from that black cesspool from I don't mean black as in race. I mean it's a black cesspool from the sky.
From Skylab, it looks like an open wound.
Yeah.
Peroxide, the bubbling up by the shores.
It looks like a La Brea tar pit. Anyway, now we got monkeypox.
Which, by the way, guys, still open slavery on the continent.
Yeah.
Send some more books, Harpo. But anyways, we got, let's see. We got monkeypox, which they trace back to a raid in Belgium and France.
Is it raid or rave?
Maybe a rave.
It's a rave where
it's any port in the storm.
Everybody's. That's a great way to put it.
It's every port in the storm.
It's a sexual any port in the storm.
Yeah, everybody goes. You just drop trout, grease up, and whatever's there. And
grease up.
And someone introduced cheetah to the mix. I just don't quite get it. But look at this. You got monkeypox, right? Donkey Kong, elephantitis scroti,
Donkey Kong,
leopard sea, tapeworm,
leopard.
Got a common denominator there?
Yeah. Cesspool from the sky.
Animals.
Yeah. No, yeah, okay. We'll
Stop messing with these animals.
Yeah.
But no, somebody introduced a monkey. It's dark in these places. Probably a lot of smoke coming around the roof there, and somebody's going, "Is that Jimmy? Jimmy? He's walking on his knuckles." Anyways, if you don't think Satan isn't just running wild on the planet, that should help you. But what happened in Uvalde, Texas.
Is,
and of course Buffalo 2 weeks ago or whatever. Complete and utter evil.
So, I'm going to give my speech on this. Tom may disagree on some of these points. Okay. First of all, we're all going to sit and say here in a little, across the country, we got to get back to God.
Yep.
We've got to there's a lot of things that we say that are more obtuse. But we're going to have to actually come up with actionable items, actionable strategies to fix this. And here's mine, okay? First of all, I don't know why you can't get into West Seneca East, which has virtually no crime, without being buzzed in. You can't get into Cleve Hill.
No.
I don't know why anybody has an open door to
Two
school.
layers at Cleve Hill, and the second layer has a one-way glass that they can see you. Yes.
You can't see that?
Yep.
Wow.
That's true.
So that's number one. I think you've got. Now, I know you could say sure, but you can't arm every grocery store. I understand all that. We're talking about children here.
Right.
Okay. Secondly, the Second Amendment has to stay, but I have some changes. Okay, this is Wayne Morlock speaking only as Wayne Morlock. The Second Amendment came about in the Revolutionary War times when it took you about 3 minutes to reload with a gunpowder and a musket ball. All right. I, every person of sound mind in America, every citizen should have the right to have, to me, a handgun. He should have the right to have a shotgun if he's a hunter. All right, with background checks. I personally do not believe. Well, let me go back just a minute. And I think 18 is way too young. 18, I know we send them to war. I get all that, and I think that's wrong. But 18 is way too young. Most 18-year-olds are not mature enough to understand a lot of really what's happening in mental capacity. Second and lastly, assault rifles, or those that can become an assault rifle, are outlawed completely, in my mind. There is no reason for assault rifles except in the hands of military and the police. That's it. And Wayne Morlock's government says you have an assault rifle after July 1st, 2022, and you're found with it, okay? You got 3 months to give it to me, because when you don't, you're going to jail for a minimum of 5 years for even having it. That's what I say. You know, you can't. My son is 24 and can't rent a car in Florida. Okay, can't rent a car, but he could go 6 years ago and buy an assault weapon. Sorry, don't see it.
A couple of things. One,
Hi, pup.
I think if an 18-year-old, first off, they can't even drink, right? But and I think that's wrong, by the way. But whatever.
Yeah.
But anyways, with the guns, I think if there's a lot of hunters that grow up and they traditionally hunt with their kids, and
I'm fine with hunting.
they follow the rules extremely well and stuff. But if your son's going to buy this long arm rifle, the parent has to be involved until you're of age.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody has to be signing in with responsibility to that.
Right.
But remember too, and something definitely does have to be done there too. There's no doubt about that. But
Why? I guess my question is, and you're right. I'm fine with rifles. And if you want your son to go with you, you go with your son. You buy
Right.
you buy a shotgun or whatever, 22 that you hunt with.
Right.
That's fine. An 18-year-old, a barely 18-year-old who just dropped out of school, walks into a gun shop, buys a gun that can easily be changed to fire off 30, 40 rounds at a time.
yeah, there's a couple of questions too with the rules and laws, right? How you buy a house and you have to show where you get your down payment for, right?
Right. Was it
How did
was it
this
a
kid
gift?
who
Was it?
didn't work have that type of money to purchase this weapon?
Yeah.
That's number one. But anyways, and the psychiatric problem in the country is big. We know that. But some shop owner, and well, in a small town, maybe he knows the kid, right? But generally speaking, you don't know the kids. Some of these people walking the earth are totally normal.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
think
and that's why you don't sell assault rifles. Period. Who needs
right.
an assault rifle?
I don't quite understand that whole thing. I agree with that. But remember, in the cities with the strictest gun control laws, we have the most gun homicides.
That's
Chicago,
true.
New York.
But I'm going to
Detroit.
add to that. That's exactly true. And you know, by the way, I'm pretty
Right.
far right. Okay.
Oh yeah.
But my point here is this. The governor of Texas came out and talked about Chicago has more murders in a weekend than this, and that's true. But those are illegal weapons, usually black on black.
Right.
In other words, they're usually what do you call them? Gangs. Okay. What we hear in these shoot-ups of these synagogues and churches and these places, these are usually white men
Well, actually,
or Spanish.
the last four
Hispanic.
has been one of each: a black, a white, an Oriental, and a Spanish.
Okay.
One of each in the last four.
But these guys are, in general, in most cases, they bought the weapons legally. And I guess that's the difference with New York and Chicago and gang warfare. We know those are all illegal guns, and you're never going to get rid of them all, okay? But I would say, first of all, the other thing is, we got shit that goes on. He talks about Congress has to do this and that. Well, we know what's going to happen, okay? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. The Republicans and the NRA are going to say, nope, can't stop anything, okay? The liberals and the Dems are going to say, can't have guns. There's no middle ground with these
Right.
assholes because
There's
they're
not.
all politicians and they're assholes.
And
So I would, if I'm president of the United States, President Morlock is going to form a commission. The NRA is not going to be there, okay? The anti-right to life, nobody's going to be there. There's no lobbying. We're going to get very sound people with high intelligence, and we're going to talk about how we fix this. And then I'm imposing it as a presidential mandate. I'm not going to Congress so the Republicans can say we should all have bazookas, and the Democrats should say none of us should be armed. We've got to meet in the middle, and these assholes in Congress are not going to meet in the middle from either side.
well, when Beto O'Rourke goes into a tragic situation to make a public stand to get his name in the news,
Yeah.
it's shameful.
Yeah.
But just remember too, we got to go back to that. That is definitely true. But we also have to look in a serious situation where why in this country that hundreds of thousands are breaking into illegally,
Yep.
millions.
Yeah.
And the evil that's in this country, and the people that are dissatisfied and filled with hate. Now, the guy in New York subway not only had his gun, but he had a hatchet and gasoline.
Gasoline.
The two brothers in Boston did a whole lot of damage without a gun. They did it with pressure cookers,
Pressure cookers. I know. No,
bombs, and
you're absolutely right. It's not just about guns. I get that.
McVeigh is the biggest.
Yeah, and he
Buffalo
used fertilizer.
and blew up the biggest act. So
It is-
we
it
have
is
to
hatred.
find out the.
There's a core issue, but I will say, if you look around Europe, there's a lot of hatred in Europe. There's a lot of they don't like the government, yada yada. But there's the only gun violence I've seen in Europe is
Wow.
usually France,
Well, remember now.
and it's usually ISIS.
No, we've had the Belgium airport massacre. We had that France with the print shop,
Right?
and
But that was where towelheads coming in.
well, but it's still evil in your
No.
country.
I understand.
And fired up by some.
All
You
I'm
had,
saying is that usually their citizens do not shoot each other. And in England, if you're caught with a gun, that's not legal. You're going to jail for a long time. So here's what I say: Second Amendment stays.
oh yeah.
You can get a gun. Background checks. Okay, you can't get a bazooka. I call it a
But
bazooka.
but a lot of the laws
Assault weapon.
are already here.
Yeah.
But then you look at the guy in New York. He should have been in jail 3 crimes ago.
Well, and there's no question that's the other thing. This bail reform, because we think it's only the 12% of the United States it goes against blacks, when it's 70% of crime. Listen, it's not stopping it. These guys are laughing in their jail cell overnight, knowing they're going back
they're
out.
tattooing champ on their foreheads.
Yeah.
Across the street, 2 weeks before my son's school opened at St. Mary's School for the Deaf on Main Street, there was a shooting. And if the bullets flew everywhere, there could have been, just a couple weeks later, deaf kids walking on the playground.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they say it's gangs, but still, innocent people are getting slaughtered and all of this shit. If you, there's a gas station that's been there for 30, I worked at the county for 30 years. That gas station had been there the whole time. Back years ago, 25 years ago, you got your gas, you walked up to a window, the thing just opened, like a teller.
Yeah.
You paid.
Bulletproof
Or if you went
glass.
inside, everything was bulletproof. And you said, could I get the chips and the cheese?
Yeah.
That was 25 years ago. The liquor store, sometimes around the holidays, we
Bars.
pop around the corner for a bottle, come back and have some fun, whatever. You'd go in, and bars, they buzzed you in, and then everything was behind bulletproof glass. Was that in lieu of the Binghamton Lunatic? And then, if you go to Bok Bok, an arm and a leg there, the Airport Plaza.
Oh, the Airport Plaza.
You would think that guy's
George
is
Jerk.
Mexican bandito with the straps of bullets. I mean, he's got to be 6'9". He's in the doorway. He's got one strap. He's got the right. I mean,
This is in Cheektowaga.
it's in Chickasaw. But what?
But that's the
33's there.
That's the thwart robberies,
Exactly.
not really shootings. It's robbery,
but-
but they will shoot. Here's the point.
No,
It's
but
on-
the point is, it's the defense of the neighborhoods, that bring this on.
That's right. But I'll say this: everything I said about gun and gun control, I agree with. But it's not unilateral. Okay, we've got to take care of mental health in this country.
Oh, that's
we've
another
got
thing.
to. We've closed the West Seneca Developmental Center. We've closed Forest and Elmwood, the Richardson Complex. When people do have issues, they don't know where to put them.
Well, they medicate them. Now, that's the ticket, right? You medicate. Thank
Right.
God for some of those medications, though. And then they send them back out because the beds are so important with
Right.
the insurances and all that stuff. And then when these people run out of their meds,
Or their insurance payments.
right, they snap. And but we got $1 billion to cover the 30 tree. Now, there's a lot of waste of money. That's not
30
just
tree.
the only thing.
No,
But
so that's two things we've talked about. There's others, but look at I'm not paid to fix this, but I know that Congress getting together, and one of them saying we should all have bazookas, and the other saying we should have nothing is not going to work. We can't have nothing because unless we're strapping, we're dead. Okay.
with the defund the police, these democratic cities.
Yep.
Who knows what what is behind all these people? Terrorism. They're all acts of terrorism.
Yeah.
And until all of them are crime, what do they call them? What do they call the crime?
Felonies?
No, when it's black, hate crime.
Hate crime.
All crime is a hate crime.
Pretty much.
The school. Now, ways to get back to this, obviously, yes, we have to have these politicians stop their bullshit and get some really serious things. And there's a way that everybody can be happy there.
That's right.
To enforce the laws that are on the books.
And then that means keep them in jail when it's a serious crime.
3, our borders are wide open. Lunatics are crossing. There was an attempt thwarted, thank God, by a good Samaritan to kill one of our ex-presidents.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
They're walking across the border here. Fentanyl. These same people that are walking the streets running out of their meds ask a stranger, can I have your Xanax? Can I have your whatever?
And they die.
And you get a lace thing with whatever,
Yep.
fentanyl. What is this leadership group doing for this shit? And it's a horrible time. And we flash back to January 6th was horrible. Well, all this BLM shit, by the way, is horrible too. January 6th was horrible. So was BLM. You had the president and vice president bailing out BLMers and
Yeah.
ATF Antifas.
Antifa.
January 6th was horrible too. And could we stop with the free rent in the heads of these sons of bitches with Trump?
Yeah.
Okay, could we
Stop
it?
living in his head.
He-
He's got you under his thumb because you just not stop talking about it. He's been gone for a year and a half.
He
Quit.
went in, he ran, he was a businessman, and all these other people hated him because he had money, whatever the reason. A lot of the reasons why you hated him
Oh, excuse me.
was lies.
Right, and that's come
Trial.
out.
There's a trial going on right now.
Trial
Lies.
from the lies about Russia helping his
But
cause.
even with the twitting, orange glow, whatever, they tried to impeach him twice. I think they did the second time. In 4 years, it was a whole lot better living than we have
Whole
now.
lot. We didn't. Our shows 2 to 3 years ago. We're not talking about
Sports.
this insanity. We're talking sports.
Right. And this guy comes out, 46, whatever the frig he is, yesterday with all this horrible shit going on, and brings out the George Floyd Just Say Please Act, which you can't strangle. Have you tried to subdue somebody that doesn't want to be subdued? I have. It's not easy. Okay.
Listen, I understand what they did, and kneeling on him for 9 minutes was cause. There's
And
no
honey,
question.
no, that was
That
one
was
of my
absurd.
girlfriends, just one. Anyway.
That was absurd. But what Tom's saying is you got to subdue somebody. When you subdue him or her, you put cuffs behind the back and you leave him the fuck alone. That's it. That's it. But I don't want the George. Let's say we love George. George was a goddamn felon, okay? And the great healer comes on yesterday, brings up the memory of George Floyd, and then ties it in to that horrific act in Texas. You fuck the healer.
And then says, thank God that fellow police officers step forward. Stop putting down our law enforcement. What that guy did in Minneapolis was completely wrong.
Right.
We all knew it.
And he's in jail, and so are the other 3.
And he got convicted.
Yeah.
The woman that thought she was, that's horrific.
Yeah.
Right? But throw her away forever. The guy in the subway, here's a Mets ticket, see you later.
Yeah.
Come on.
absurd.
The hypocrisy is horrific.
It's absurd. And I was talking today about the Second Amendment just a minute ago about we better be armed. Here's another reason we got to be armed. Because go back to the revolutionary days, okay? Go back to Hitler. He went to socialism and autocratic rule, and then what happened is they turned on their own citizens.
Right.
And the citizens had no way to fight back.
And a couple things quick, too. A lot of you guys have emailed us and sent letters, cables, telegrams.
Was there
Right.
telegraph?
The pigeons got to stop, guys. The shit's everywhere. But anyways, that the president doesn't do anything to control gas prices. Well, if there's any confusion with that, your president answered that question in Japan when he said, we're going through a very tough transition. And hopefully at the end, the world will be a better place with the greenhouse gas and all that. The world. I could care 2 shits about the rest of the world.
But okay, let's go back to your key word there, transition. Okay. First of all, let's talk about how electricity is produced in the United States. 80% is produced by shitty, garbage, dirty coal.
Right
Okay?
on. Like we used to get threatened to get at Christmas time.
That's right. Santa. In fact, they went up north and got a whole shitload of it. No, so it's called. So we're not ready for the pain and suffering. You're a multi tens of million dollar piece of shit because you're a 30-year, 40-year criminal in office, shit stick, and you and every one of your colleagues are loaded with money and live in mansions.
And feed them cake with 20,000 square foot mansions.
You talk about your footprint.
Right.
You know, you're given the cars are the best. The houses are 20,000 square feet. And where'd you get the money?
9,000 permits out there, really, for real. All right, let's stop the horse shit. Then you can't drill there. All the regulations and taxes, it doesn't make it worthwhile. Hey, I don't care if people make money. Now, the bottom line is we need the war started with fossil fuel from day one with this new Green New Deal, which does nothing but make everything red, okay? Yep. And the war on fossil fuels, the diesel gas, all that goes up. That's how our goods get here. So what's he want to do? He's begging dictators for dirty oil. Because we signed in the Paris Clean Air Agreement, all right? We promised at our end of the pool we weren't pissing. Nobody else signed on to that, but we did, so we had the cleanest emissions on the planet.
Right.
You've done away with all of that now.
Well, because we fracked, and natural gas is as clean as it gets.
And it's clean. We stopped all of that.
Stop all
and
that.
now it's dirty coal, like Wayne said. Now, buy an electric car or exercise more. Right. And take the chance of getting mugged and shot.
Talk about the cars.
Get a scanner.
Just for a second. Hold on that thought. The cars. Okay, let's say you don't like gas. You want to help the environment. Yada, yada, yada. You want to get one. You know how to plug it in. Let's just go through throw it all aside. Okay, you want an electric car. You got 60 G's.
That's number one. Number
you got
two,
a car payment at $1,100 a month for 7 years.
Are you getting a tent? Because when you pull up, it takes, a couple hours to recharge?
Well, that we know. We've talked about all that. Forget. If I'm saying throw that all away, okay? Are you ready for an $1,100 car payment for 7 years? I mean, forget about what the kilowatt hour costs.
And, right, they already said like 3% of the cars now are electric.
Yeah.
If they went to 10%, the grid can't handle
The grid collapses.
So what's his idea?
When it's hot in Philadelphia, the grid collapses.
Right. It's hot in LA. The answer, burn more dirty coal, or, here's a winning idea, build a couple more nuclear plants, because it's real easy to get rid of that glowing shit, which, by the way, is probably on a train near us as we speak.
As we speak.
No, the whole thing is ridiculous.
And fracking, there were some issues. There's no question about it. I guess the runoff and stuff. Okay,
Right.
But work on that. Work on fixing the issues with fracking, because fracking brought up clean energy.
Begging Venezuela for dirty oil.
A dictator. Begging a dictator for oil.
If any of you guys think presidents don't control that, well, your president just answered the question.
He started day one by basically saying we're going green energy and we're not going to do any more of our own. There's no more oil production, or very little. No increase.
One quick thing I wanted to point out, going back to these mass shootings and the guns and stuff, and now the body armor and all this horse shit. There used to be, and I wonder if there still is, so many police cars were called shotgun cars. There was a shotgun in the car. Well, let's answer these calls. Now, a lot of times, like the police officers that went to the tops, they had no idea what they were walking into. And probably there was a shotgun car on scene. But when you know, let's answer with the... But what's his name yesterday?
No, just bring a social worker.
What he answered yesterday, the military equipment can no longer go to our police forces.
That's bullshit. Military and police. That's who gets the bazookas.
Let's answer that thing yesterday. Instead of breaking through the door with pistols, let's answer with even more firepower.
Yep, with a magazine that holds 50 rounds.
On
the good guy side.
Right. Instead of, the pistols and all that. Cops, they weren't sure what they were going into. But I remember, and I'm sure there still is, that shotgun's going to take care of that body armor.
Yeah.
You blow his knees out. But anyways, it's easy for us because we're on the backside of this, but we bring up a lot of good points here. But
we're very intelligent.
The evil in this country too. I really think our country was founded on God, right?
Yeah.
And in God we trust, and everybody else go to hell. That's slipping, guys. And when we say about the church parking lots and stuff, and people will say, "Well, the priests were really bad." Okay, there were some bad priests. I get it. Find a good one. There's a lot of good priests, and if it's the religion you don't like, find another religion.
Be a Wesleyan, be a Buddhist,
right? Whatever. But let's get and some family values here. Like we said in the last show, my mom and dad knew exactly what I was doing, and a lot of times if the principal called, it was I'm on defense first. It wasn't defend me first.
Yeah, exactly.
And
There was that one time at Four Walls where parents really had no idea.
oh God,
We won't
But
say anything.
Light will always outdo the dark, right? The good will always outdo.
And we
Make
showed
it-
that in Buffalo. Now those poor families of the 10 and the 10 victims themselves, you know, their lives are changed forever. But
Right.
what I'm saying there is, what you're saying there is, look at this city and our athletes and everybody rally around that community.
And
Light will
exactly.
shine.
And by the way, not a penny from BLM, but make it harder for evil. If we have to put armed guards in more stores, then I guess so be it. I'd rather pay a little more for that than the fact we can't get goods because of Ho Chi Minh
Right.
and all this horseshit.
Exactly.
And have these guards armed with a more important weapon, right? Have the guard at tops. Have the most powerful weapon you can have.
There was a Facebook post today. On Twitter, a woman dropped her son off and saw a man standing outside the school. And she thought, oh, he's just waiting for somebody to pick him up or something. She came back in the afternoon to pick her son up. This was Texas, not real close to Uvalde. And she came back and the guy was still standing there. Well, he had a sidearm and he volunteered
Yep.
to watch the school today.
And there was some commentation on the newses and stuff that said, like my daughter said, Daddy, that can't happen here because we have armed officers in the schools. Well, do you want your kids to see it? Yeah, maybe that would be a good way to breach police officers with our kids,
Yeah.
right? They're learning now in school that white's horrible. Everybody can have a pee-pee. Maybe nobody has a pee-pee.
Or,
Who
you know.
needs a pee-pee? Whatever a pee-pee. How you really can get paid for cutting a lawn, right? And now a new book coming out puts AOC as a hero for where she came from.
And aren't they trying to get that in schools?
And yes,
Tell me that.
And that God is out there, but God doesn't like certain people like Mitch McConnell. They mention him.
God doesn't want to
And
get
AOC came from nowhere. That is not true. Her parents were very wealthy, and she's a complete idiot.
to Columbia.
But the bottom line is, let's get our schools. There's like we said, there's no way that kid should have gotten that school,
Nope.
right? And
Nope.
if we have to put armed guards in the schools, there's a lot of military guys without jobs right now.
That's right. Go get a
And-
veteran.
There's a lot of taxes going up, and for all this shit, let's throw the CRT. And I'm going to say it again. You want to bring CRT? Critical respect theory. Everybody likes everybody. Apparently, this kid was bullied. You and I were bullied.
Oh God.
The kid used to write with ink on my shirt. My dad goes, "Son, you got to do something."
Look
"Yeah,
at us.
You can't."
Just look at us now. Look on your
And-
TV screen right now. Look
I-
at us. Of
I-
course we were bullied.
I never I never thought, "Geez, I want to get something."
I'm
and
killing Miss
wipe
Moyer.
out the library.
I'm killing Miss Moyer and
do.
the whole group.
I won't mention his name. If I ever
I
see him,
will.
I will publicly embarrass him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want Jim Campbell fleeced and I want him now.
We were bullied, right? And life goes on. It's part of growing up. Kids can be very nasty. Kids are awesome, but they also can be very nasty.
That's right.
Right? So, anyways, that's not an answer, right? But if we had a little more respect, and we had a gym teacher who shouldn't have been teaching gym at all, and
Yeah.
he was mocking out two kids in our class. They both had health issues. I'm sure he didn't know it. And finally, one of our kids in our class said, "Leave him alone, Esposito." This happened.
Yeah.
And Esposito backed down to it. So shit happens in these schools, right? But we kids find a way how to take care of it. And the escalation
And we
of
climbed
shit,
out of it. You're looking at the straight from the hip, climbed right
and
out of it.
the escalation,
Hi, doggy.
that these are issues that have to be addressed. I mean, everything has to escalate. And they call these guys lone wolves.
Yeah.
No, they're not lone wolves at all. Okay, he might have been a lone wolf
That day.
in Uvalde, but he's on the internet with a lot of other
Yeah. The black
mentally
internet.
fucked
Yeah.
people like he is.
The dark
So
internet.
Mary Poppins was going to crack down on mega people, but maybe we crack down on like, dude, my God, it's our security force here. Do you still have that Mary Jane in your pocket? He's trained for that. Anyways,
Yeah, I love it.
he hasn't
too.
gone nuts like that since he saw Herb at the Grateful Dead concert. Anyways, now I lost my train of thought. Whatever. But
Well, we've given our views and
make it tougher on evil. Parents get involved more. There was a thing uncovered in another part of Texas where I believe, but everybody's fast to get the story instead of getting it right. Parents stepped in and put an end to what could have been again another shooting.
I didn't hear
And
that.
yeah, it was. But again, they got a lot of this stuff wrong with Uvalde on timing and stuff, and people are upset. Listen, let's not blame law enforcement. Time, we got to do something. God bless those guys. They did the best they could. Let's wait till the whole story comes out, but let's not blame law enforcement.
No.
You had a guy in there. They had cameras and stuff. They knew what they were going into. They waited a little bit and got a team together. The damage had been done. All right, and but I know parents get excited when the school,
Well, if it's one of our children.
when the roof was on fire over at Cleve Hill. I wanted my kids. Now I'm as guilty as the next.
I was
Right?
going to say, when the emotion comes in and one of your kids is in that school, you're not going to be rational. You're going to say, what did they do? Why didn't they do it? Why is it quicker?
If,
I get that.
bottom line, toughen up these places and make it really tough, and make these cowards know that somebody might be shooting back.
And exactly. And again, maybe these assholes have a death wish, which a lot of them do. So for me, it's also said you get found with an assault rifle.
Right.
Just I don't care if it's in your trunk and you've done
Right.
nothing on a traffic stop. Going to jail 5-10 years.
Right.
Felony.
And
Sorry.
and
Felony.
the officers in our stores and malls, and guys, there's armed guards at the Galleria Mall. There's crimes going everywhere, guys, and maybe it's not a school tonight, but it's this and that, and these shootings in the city. Innocent people are getting shot.
Well, yeah, and the Galleria Mall has been changed. It's now a cesspool. So I saw the sign going up.
Right.
There was a big rig the other day. They're calling it the Gonorrhea Mall.
The
So
13 bus should have never went there, but that's another story. But anyways, guys, make it tougher. And if we have to have an armed guard, when you go to the stadium, for example,
yeah.
you have the
Cops
SWAT
everywhere.
team,
They're armed.
and they got the big stuff,
Yeah, they're armed.
and they're ready. I will point out. Well, I'm gonna not because it's. Anyways, I'm not gonna
Use your judgment.
No, I'm gonna not use it. But when you go there, you see the guys, and they're armed up with the big stuff, and they're ready for a cop.
I got a Erie County Sheriff stands right next to me in my section.
right.
Now, mostly he's there to keep peace, but you know what? Something starts happening.
Right.
I'm glad the guy's next to me.
Right.
And by the way, they wear Kevlar.
right. Oh yeah, they do.
It's hot, but they wear
Right.
Kevlar.
Yeah, they do, and you got to. And remember, guys, though, evil's going to find a way. Like they're going to burn something, or a car bomb, or cow manure.
Yeah, doesn't matter. They're
And-
going to find a way.
Hear something, say something is true, and stop. We got to stop politicizing everything. And
Exactly right. You know
wrong's
what?
got to be wrong.
You know, you guys know that we're more to the right. But forgetting all that for a moment, let's start doing the logical and smart things. The NRA, the National Rifle Association, fuck you.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing. And all these other lobbyists, just do the right thing.
Right.
You know, I don't care who's contributing to your damn campaign anymore.
Right.
And I don't care if that's Republican or Democrat. It's ridiculous.
No, it really is, and I really think the 18s and stuff, that something has to definitely be done. More parent involvement. If they're old enough to go to war and all that, but the bottom line is, this kid, where did you get this money from? There's a lot of questions, and hopefully these guys can figure
Shoots
out a
his
way.
grandmother
In the face.
in the face. I mean, this guy.
How does
We were taught there's a devil. There's a heaven and hell, and the devil's in hell, and the devil, if you have eternal sin, you're going to burn in for eternity. Well, if there's anybody in the world of recent that I want burning in eternity, it's this piece of shit.
right? This guy, we've got to find out if we can. Why so much hate and evil?
Yeah.
To shoot little kids that couldn't be identified.
Children. Oh, good Lord.
And-
Tom, I was telling you last night, you talk about Nam and all these wars in Iraq, Afghanistan. Do you think those first responders and those people are going to be right? If I'm a
No.
police officer going into that carnage,
Some of those
I'll have PTSD the rest of my life. I won't sleep.
some of those officers had kids that
They
were
have
killed.
kids.
And in
Oh.
weird cases, but one grandpa and grandma, I think it was a mom and dad, I don't remember. Their little girl did not want to go to school. She was pleading. She did not want to go to school. And they said, no, you have to go to school. There's nothing wrong with it. She was killed.
Ah,
You wonder sometimes.
God.
Anyways, and you wonder how God could do this. I don't know. There's a lot of questions for
I
that.
have questions. Yeah.
But
Hmm.
I don't know.
Lester Holt came on yesterday when it happened at like 4 in the afternoon or when they came on, and you could tell he could barely keep composure.
No, it's
We're all even they're all done talking about it. This is America. We're supposed to be the best nation in the world,
right.
And boy, this just don't happen a lot of
And
other
guys,
places.
with what's going on at our border and stuff, don't get detracted. It's going to get even worse. There's a lot of evil coming over
Yep.
the border. So, anyways, hopefully we didn't do Debbie Downers on you, but
Yeah, there's not a lot of
Nate
fun.
Toss.
Not a lot of fun to talk about lately. Our comedy act is.
Nate Toss. You know what that is?
Yeah,
What is it?
I don't know.
Satan backwards. Nate Toss. I do it every night at all four corners of my house.
I lied to you. I said I knew.
And then I put salt on the windowsills.
Yeah, this is the comedy thing that we normally do. It's been kind of tough the last couple of weeks, but we'll be back to it. Plus, there'll be more to talk about with sports.
Right,
But here we are. We just want to get this out because it's our feelings that something has to change.
right.
Of course, we know everybody in the world or the United States feels this way, except evil.
Right.
And we need to actually have some concrete things done. You know what I mean? Don't have the NRA in front of a mic saying you can't take away guns. Don't have the left coming out saying everybody should turn their gun in. Let's meet in the middle. We have the Second
And
Amendment.
you know-
Be logical. They're not muskets anymore.
What we've done here with Duke, our security guard dog, and in all sincerity, one thing that I saw with all the shootings at ECMC,
Mm-hmm.
what scared those guys the most when they came and tried to overrun and get in, the dogs.
The dogs.
The German Shepherds freaked them out.
Yeah.
They were terrified.
Oh, there we go.
And maybe we got to start getting more armed guards with some dogs. And seriously,
They'll probably shoot the poor dogs.
well, I don't know. You better be a good shot because these things come fast and hard. And
Oh, somebody's crying.
we
Well,
have
we
one
got to
here
get
on the
going.
side.
Our
But
security
anyways,
dog's crying. And we gotta
right.
get
Happy
going.
Memorial Day.
Yeah,
It's
have a
still
good
the best
weekend. I know
country
we-
in the goddamn world.
That's right. We talked a lot of
Got the shittiest leadership, but we got the
a lot
best
of crappy
country.
stuff today, but this is a great country. Let's make it back to where it was, and enjoy your weekend.
Oh, one last thing.
And Buffalo's supposed to be
When we
nice.
talk about electric, I got $30-some thousand worth of panels on the roof here. Guys,
It's not working.
it's not working
So there you go.
to what they told us it would work for. So I'm not just a member,
You own. You're an owner.
I'm an owner.
Lastly, the New York. I just want to throw this in because I just remembered it. The New York State Thruway Authority paid $8 million at 5 exits to put windmills in. They don't work. They haven't worked since the first month they were put in. They sued the company. The judge threw it out. So you taxpayers just paid $8 million for windmills that don't turn at 5 Southern Tier Expressway or Thruway exits. $8 million.
And
Woo!
birds that have been hurt,
Ah.
it's not even funny. Take care, everybody. And
Yep.
Timmy, love you, buddy. See you soon.
Oh, it's a long one today, Tom.
Is it?
47 minutes.
Wow, we went off.